Welcome back to Tales of Olympus, the podcast where we dive into the wildest, most dramatic, and sometimes just downright unbelievable stories from Greek mythology. I'm your host, Ariel Gao, and if you're new here, welcome. You just joined a community of mythology fans who love hearing these stories told in a fun and modern way. A quick reminder, this episode is broken into 2 parts, which as always I will be posting next week. And before we get on with the rest of the episode, I would like to say the surprise has officially dropped. The one I was telling you guys about a few weeks ago, and the one AIG's official music lyric video is on YouTube. So go check it out, link in the description, it's really cool. I hope you guys enjoy and okay, go! I'm Ariel Gao and I'm sitting here today on the very last day of winter vacation. And I'll be very honest with you. So, gotta enjoy it while it still lasts. Ha ha ha. Today, we are doing something a little different. We're talking about Twilight, the 4-book saga by Stephanie Meyer, and specifically the deep hidden links it has to Greek and Roman mythology. Well, at first glance, you might think it's just a vampire story, but when you look closer, the blueprints of Olympus are everywhere. From the way the characters are built to the laws they follow, Twilight is basically a modern Greek tragedy. Well, not exactly tragedy, but you get what I mean. Throughout this episode, we are going to search for the real ancient history that inspired the world of Forks. We're going to find the first vampire in Roman records and see how the Cullens act like a modern-day pantheon of gods. It's the ultimate crossover between modern culture and ancient truths we talk about every week. But before we start searching for the links, we have to know what Twilight is. The story is set in a tiny, perpetually rainy town called Forks in Washington. It's the kind of place where the clouds never leave, which is perfect for a mystery. Our main character is Bella Swan. She's grounded, smart, and moves from sunny Phoenix to this misty town. You can sort of see that Bella represents the mortal in a world where things aren't quite human. In Forks, she meets a family that stands out like a group of Olympians walking through a high school cafeteria, the Cullens. They are beautiful, they are marble cold, and they have a secret that stretches back through history. They don't just look different, they feel ancient. The Cullens are vampires, but they aren't just vampires. They are a family with specific gifts that mirror the powers of the gods. Let's meet the squad. There's Carlisle and Esme. The parents. Carlisle is a doctor with incredible compassion, like Apollo in his healing form. He's the one who created a vegetarian lifestyle where they only drink the blood of animals instead of humans. And there's Edward, the one Bella is drawn to. His gift is reading minds. He can hear every thought in a room. It's like he's tuned into a radio station that never turns off. And there's Alice. She has the gift of prophecy. She can see the future based on the decisions people make. She's like, sort of the Oracle of Delphi living in the 21st century. And Alice's mate, Jasper. He's an empath. He can feel and even change the emotions of everyone around him. If a room is tense, he can make everyone feel calm instantly. And Emmett and Rosalie are mates too, and Emmett is truly very strong and Rosalie is very beautiful as always. And together they live in a house hidden in the woods, blending in with the humans. But their powers make them more like a secret council of gods than a group of teenagers. We've met the family and we've seen the rainy town of Forks. And they are all together. Carlisle and Esme are in love, Jasper and Alice, Emmett and Rosalie. Edward is alone for now. Really, for now. Alright, let's get into the real history. If you search for the first vampire in mythology, you won't find Edward Cullen. You'll find a man named Ambrogio. He was an Italian adventurer who traveled to Delphi in Greece. This is the ultimate crossover, a Roman man in a Greek temple. Ambrogio fell in love with a maiden named Selena, but Apollo, the god of the sun, was jealous. Apollo cursed Ambrogio so that his skin would burn if it ever touched sunlight. This is one of the very first links. In Twilight, the Cullens can't go out in the sun because it reveals their true nature. But unlike burning to death, like Ambrogio, Stephanie Meyer made them so that their skin would reflect off the sunlight. So yeah, it would be really weird if you went out in the sunlight and everybody stares at you because you're dazzling. But for Ambrogio, the sun was a literal weapon. To survive, he made a deal with Hades and Artemis. Artemis gave him silver for protection and the gift of speed and immortality. But he had to drink blood to survive. This Greek and Roman myth is the actual blueprint for vampires. Ambrogio didn't sparkle, he burned and hunted, but he was the first god-touched immortal. Now let's look at the Volturi. In Twilight, they only exist in Twilight. They live in Volterra, Italy, and they act as the royalty and police of the vampire world. If you look at their structure, it's not just a coven, it's a Roman senati. The Romans were obsessed with lex, which is law, and pax romana, which is Roman peace. The Volturi believe in pax vampirica. They don't care about being good or evil, they only care about power and keeping their secrets safe so they can stay in power. Just like the Roman emperors, Nero, Caius, and Marcus sit on thrones and pass judgment. In Roman law, if a citizen put the republic at risk, the punishment was death. In Twilight, if a vampire puts the secret at risk, the Volturi arrive with the same cold Roman efficiency. They are the legends of the supernatural world, keeping order through fear and absolute law. In Greek myths, the ancestors of vampires weren't called vampires. They were called the Ampusei. They were the daughters of Hecate, the goddess of magic. They had flaming hair and one leg made of bronze. They were shapeshifters who would lure travelers and drink their blood. This connects to Twilight because the same way vampires are described as statues or having marble, diamond-hard skin. The Greek and Romans saw these creatures as lamiae or striges, beings that were halfway between a statue and a human. When Bella describes the Cullens as beautiful but cold as stone, she is using the same language the Romans used to describe the striges. They aren't just people with fangs. They are biological weapons born from curses of the gods. We've got the bloodlines, and we've got the law. The Cullens are basically a Roman family trying to live a quiet life, while the Greek monsters of the past are still hunting in the shadows. Okay, now we've spent some time looking at the cold marble-like world of the Cullens, but tonight we're heading into the forest. In Twilight, there's a massive tension between the vampires and the Quilit shapeshifters who shapeshift into werewolves. Well, not werewolves, just huge, gigantic wolves. But Jacob Black and his pack aren't just monsters. They are protectors who change form to keep their people safe. But where does the idea of a human turning into a massive, powerful wolf come from? If you search through the oldest records of the Mediterranean, you will find the word werewolf. You'll find lycanthropy. The roots of this legend aren't in Hollywood. They're buried in the mountains of Arcadia, Greece. And it all starts with a king who tried to kick the king of the gods. Well, trick the king of the gods himself. The man credited with being the first werewolf was King Lycaon of Arcadia. According to the poet Ovid and ancient Greek accounts, Lycaon was a cruel and arrogant ruler. When Zeus came to visit him, disguised as a common traveler, to see if the rumors of Lycaon's cruelty were true, Lycaon decided to play a dangerous game. I won't go into the details, but anyways, Zeus cursed Lycaon, causing him to flee into the wild. His skin turned to fur and his hands became paws. He became a wolf, the very first lycanthrope. This is the Lycaon blueprint. It's the original term of lycanthropy. Unlike the vegetarian vampires who choose to be good, Lycaon's transformation was a punishment for his loss of humanity. This mirrors the struggle we see with the shapeshifters and forks, the constant battle to keep the human mind while their body wants to act. The Romans took this idea and evolved it into the Versipelles, which literally means turned skin. This fits the Twilight wolves even better. In Roman accounts, like those found in Petronius Satyricon, these skin turners didn't need a full moon or a magic ritual. They could often shift whenever they felt like it, or when they reached a certain level of intensity. They were seen as spirit warriors who carried their wolf self on the inside at all times. Fit the Twilight wolves even better. It fits them perfectly. This is exactly what we see with Jacob. He doesn't wait for a moon, he shifts when his temper flares or when he needs to protect his family. In ancient Rome, these beings were respected but deeply feared for their raw power. They weren't cursed like Lycaon. They were part of the secret ancient lineage of warriors. It's a powerful connection to the way Cullen see their own history. So, we've got the blood drinkers from the Roman law and the wolf kings from the Greek myth. The stage is set for a massive clash. One of the biggest plot points in the whole Twilight saga is the treaty. It's the invisible line between the woods that neither the Cullens nor the Cullens are allowed to cross. This isn't just a modern plot device. This is a direct reflection of the ancient Greek concept of Asilia and the sacred truce. In ancient Greece, different tribes and city-states were constantly at war, much like the Cold War between the vampires and the wolves. But during certain times, like the Olympic Games, a sacred truce was called. If you crossed a border you weren't supposed to, or if you shed blood on sacred ground, you were not just breaking the law, you were inviting the wrath of the gods. In Forks, the treaty is their sacred truce. It's the only thing keeping two ancient species from starting a war that would burn the whole town. Now, let's look at who enforces the rules on the vampire side. Back before our main character Bella was even introduced in Forks, a very, very long time ago, the werewolves and vampires came to a clash. Carlisle, the leader of the Olympic Coven, aka the Cullens, decided that they could live in peace, but with a truce and a treaty. Next week, continue the story, Cullen tribes and the tension. Alright, let's see you next episode. My name is Ariel, I'm 11 years old, and I will see you next episode. Bye!